Hello, I'm Anthony Chadwick from the Webinar Vet. Are you looking at ways of making your veterinary practice more sustainable? Well, if you stick around till the end of the video, you'll find ways to make yourself a more sustainable member of the veterinary profession, and also how you can make that more profitable for your own practice and attract new clients in. For the best veterinary tips, please do subscribe to this channel, and if you hit the bell, you will get notifications when we create a new video. My name is Anthony Chadwick and I'm the founder of the Webinar Vet, which was set up 11 years ago to make veterinary education more accessible and more affordable to vets and nurses across the world, but has also had the side effect of taking many millions of miles off the roads and the airways for people travelling to their conferences and to their meetings to get their CPD points. I hope you like my t-shirt. I got this when I went to an arena tour on the Blue Planet programme, which is a programme that David Attenborough produced. And it's absolutely brilliant. And I went to this concert, had an orchestra with it. And my wife said she would buy me a t-shirt, and this was the one that took my fancy, a beautiful picture of a turtle, which of course are struggling so much with all the plastic in the oceans. And it reminds me of my time, shortly after my mum died, we needed some time away, and so my wife and I went to St. Lucia for a lovely, lovely trip. And we were so lucky that one evening we saw little baby turtles, and they were going in the wrong way. They were going towards the lights on the road. So we were able to take the turtles and put them in the water and start them on their journey. So it's very precious, beautiful creatures. And of course, all of our actions will help to keep these animals with us for years to come. So it's important that we take our responsibilities seriously. When you're looking at having a more sustainable veterinary practice, I think there are two elements: the people within it acting more sustainably, and then some of the processes that we can use to help us to keep our practice more sustainable. And in fact, the Vet Sustain, BVA, BVNA and SPIVs have just put together a really nice infographic on making your practice more sustainable, and I'll share that link at the end of this video. Broadly, it's about using our resources more carefully. You know, I've just installed an electric meter in my own house, and it's been able to show me how I'm using my electricity. I have solar panels for heat and for electricity on my roof, and this helps me to significantly save. And if I do things during the day when I'm getting the solar energy for free, it not only is better for the planet, but it saves me money as well. So do think seriously about using more sustainable, renewable energy, be it producing it yourself or using suppliers like Good Energy or Octopus to provide you with your electricity in the practice. Of course, during VC 2021, we had a webinar with Zoe Halfakri, and she explained the enormous greenhouse gas effect that nitrous oxide has. And this is one of the anesthetic gases that we use in practice a lot, and we should really be reducing. So if you are using nitrous oxide in your practice, then I would suggest that you start using much less of it and use it, you know, when you think it's absolutely necessary. Of course, travelling to and from work, can you use public transport? Is it possible to cycle or walk rather than go in the car? All of these are simple measures that will help us live more lightly on the planet. Zoe also discussed whether to use recyclable drapes and recyclable aprons, or whether we can just use an operating gown and just rewash it, and what was the benefit of that. And I think the upshot of that was that she said, if you don't stain the garment and, you know, you are better to use sustainable drapes rather than ones that can only be used once and then have to be thrown into landfill. So there's a few tips there as to how you can live more sustainably. My final one is a personal one, a gift from my wife at Christmas. I like sparkling water at my dinner, and of course we made a commitment in my house a number of years ago to use as little plastic as possible. So if I'm buying some San Pellegrino, I will buy that in the bottle, the glass bottle. But of course, my sister is an expert in renewable energies, and she's based down in Leicestershire. And she would argue that glass also has a contribution as well, because it's heavier to transport, it takes more fuel. So some of these issues can be quite complex. But my wife bought me a soda stream at Christmas, and I now make my own sparkling water. I don't need any plastic bottles, I don't need any glass bottles, and I don't transport it anywhere. So always there are solutions if we look for them. I just encourage you to think globally, but act locally. Those small things that we're all trying to do, putting solar panels on our roofs, using soda streams instead of buying plastic bottles, all of these things can make a difference. And I encourage you to continue in this year, 2021, which at Webinar Vet is the year which we've themed Regenerating the Veterinary World. So I hope you'll join us on that. Do let me know underneath any of your tips, any of the things that you're doing. The more that we share together, the more that we learn. As promised, the Vet Sustain and the BVA and BVNA and SPIVs have created a fantastic checklist, which I'll now show you. And of course, if you click on the link, it will take you to the page to study it in more detail. But their checklist basically talks about practicing responsible resource use, which we've talked about, be sustainable in your operation, use medicines responsibly, and empower the team. We have a brilliant team at the Webinar Vet. A group have got together to encourage green practices within the business, but also, you know, as individuals, we have a real responsibility, and it can be a great way of engendering camaraderie within the team. So I do hope you like the resource from the BVA and from Vet Sustain, BVNA and SPIVs, and you'll find that useful for your own practice. Of course, finally, there have been lots of papers I've been reading a lot in the Harvard Business Review and in other journals about the importance of sustainability, but how actually it can benefit your business. It can raise the profile of your business as being a purpose-centered and a caring one. And we know that the new generation of pet owners, the millennials, are really serious in this area as well. We only need to look at Greta Thunberg and that generation. And in fact, it's a generation that is spending a lot of money on their pets as well. So we shouldn't do this for the wrong reasons. We shouldn't do it to greenwash and present ourselves as being greener than we are, to encourage people to come to the practice, because that would be dishonest. But I think if we're really seriously concerned about this, we shouldn't use the fact that it will be too expensive to do as an excuse, because I believe that it can be a real way of increasing the value of your practice and encouraging both team members to stay because they like seeing what you're doing, but also it can encourage clients as well. Are you a member of the veterinary profession, either a vet or a nurse? If you've listened to this and enjoyed it, we run the largest online veterinary community in the world, and we have well over 2,000 hours of veterinary continuing education on our site. So please do click on the link below to go and have a look at the site. And if you'd like to become a member, I'd love to have you in the membership. If you're a veterinary student, you might also like to look at Wikivet, another one of our sites. This is a free resource for all members of the profession, but we know that veterinary students find it particularly useful during those stressful exam times. So please do feel free to go to Wikivet and search out all the fantastic resources that we have. If you've liked this video, please do click and like it and subscribe to the channel, share it with friends, and of course we have other videos that may be of interest for you as well.